This story just took a dramatic turn. Joe Rogan has dropped explosive revelations that Candace Owens actually warned Charlie Kirk about his widow, Erika Kirk, before anyone else knew the truth. According to Rogan, Candace had access to information that raised serious red flags about Erika's behavior, intentions, and the potential manipulation behind the scenes. She tried to alert Charlie, but her warnings were reportedly ignored, dismissed, or downplayed, and now the consequences are playing out publicly. For months, Erika maintained a carefully curated image: the grieving widow, a loyal partner, someone trustworthy. But behind the scenes, according to Joe Rogan, she was allegedly orchestrating actions that could mislead family, friends, and even political allies. Candace's warnings, once considered overcautious or speculative, now appear to have been accurate. Private messages, insider accounts, and corroborating evidence suggest Erika was not only controlling the narrative, but actively manipulating people around her to serve her own agenda. Social media is buzzing, and the public is divided. Some people are praising Candace Owens for her foresight and courage, while others are shocked that Charlie didn't heed the warnings. The story raises larger questions. How much of Erika's public persona was authentic, and how much was crafted to deceive? If Candace saw the signs and tried to intervene, what else was happening that the public never knew? The drama isn't just personal, it has political and social implications, exposing networks of influence, control, and secrets that very few people outside this circle understood. This is a story that is far from over, and every new detail is more shocking than the last part. One opens with shockwaves reverberating across social media and political circles as Joe Rogan revealed that Candace Owens had previously warned Charlie Kirk about his widow, Erika Kirk. According to Rogan, these warnings weren't casual opinions or speculative observations, they were based on private intelligence, insider reports, and first-hand accounts suggesting that Erika's behavior could be manipulative and even deceptive. Candace reportedly attempted to alert Charlie, but her messages were ignored or dismissed, leaving him vulnerable to events that would later shock the public. The first layer of the controversy revolves around the timing. Candace's warnings allegedly came months before Charlie began publicly displaying confidence in Erika's loyalty and intentions. Private communications, according to Rogan, indicated that Erika had been crafting a careful image for the outside world, while allegedly working behind the scenes to control narratives, limit access to critical information, and influence the decisions of those closest to Charlie. Sources claim that Erika maintained multiple lines of communication simultaneously, coordinating with friends, associates, and possibly political allies to maintain a controlled public image, fans, and social media users immediately began dissecting the podcast clips. Joe Rogan highlighted specific pieces of evidence, including screenshots, metadata, and insider testimony that suggested Erika's actions were deliberate and calculated. Each example appeared to contradict the public image Erika had maintained for months. Observers pointed out moments in previous interviews where Erika's behavior seemed rehearsed, evasive, or overly defensive, signals that now aligned with Rogan's revelations. Charlie's family reacted quickly. Parents and close associates expressed frustration that Candace's warnings had been ignored, noting that they had also observed inconsistencies in Erika's story. According to insiders, Erika frequently controlled communications regarding Charlie's personal and professional affairs, blocking certain family members from accessing information and crafting narratives to deflect scrutiny. These behaviors, previously dismissed as overprotectiveness or grief, now appeared intentional and manipulative. The controversy exploded online. Clips of Rogan discussing Candace's warnings were shared millions of times, and threads dissecting the timeline, messages, and recordings circulated widely. Analysts began cross-referencing public appearances with the insider accounts to identify discrepancies and patterns. Many concluded that Erika's public persona had been carefully curated, while her private actions demonstrated a level of orchestration that was both shocking and calculated. Political commentators also weighed in. Some suggested that Erika's alleged manipulations extended beyond personal matters and may have had political or social implications. If true, this raised questions about the broader networks she might have influenced and whether her actions affected more than just Charlie's personal life. The revelation that Candace Owens had tried to intervene highlighted a failure to act on crucial intelligence, adding tension and intrigue to the story. By the end of the first day after Rogan's podcast, public perception of Erika had shifted dramatically. She was no longer seen solely as a grieving widow. Her actions were now being examined under a lens of suspicion and scrutiny. Every prior statement, social media post, and public appearance was analyzed for hidden intentions or inconsistencies, and patterns of manipulation began to emerge. Part 2 picks up as the fallout from Joe Rogan's revelations begins to spread like wildfire across social media, mainstream news outlets, and political circles. Candace Owens' warnings to Charlie Kirk became the center of attention. And analysts started connecting dots between her foresight and Erika Kirk's alleged behavior. Observers noted that Candace's concerns were not only credible, but possibly life-saving in terms of protecting Charlie from reputational, personal, and professional harm. The fact that Charlie ignored or dismissed these warnings only added fuel to the fire. Insiders shared that Erika's coordination was meticulous. Sources allege she had multiple channels of communication, strategically crafting messages to family, friends, and political allies. Every statement made publicly seemed to align with an orchestrated narrative intended to present her as innocent and trustworthy, while simultaneously controlling the flow of information behind the scenes. This included timing social media posts, preparing scripted responses for interviews, and even selectively revealing or hiding evidence to maintain her constructed image. Joe Rogan detailed several examples of Erika's calculated maneuvers, including instances where timelines were subtly altered in public statements to mislead observers. These manipulations, while appearing minor on the surface, had a significant effect on public perception and the understanding of Charlie's private and professional decisions. Analysts argued that the intentional control over information reflected not just personal strategy but a deeper understanding of media, influence, and public opinion management. Charlie's parents and closest associates publicly reacted to Rogan's revelations. They expressed frustration and disappointment that Candace's warnings had been ignored, suggesting that had Charlie heeded the advice, much of the current controversy might have been avoided. According to their accounts, Erika had repeatedly obstructed access to vital information, controlled communications, and created an environment where the truth was difficult to access. This further validated Rogan's reporting and added credibility to Candace Owens' foresight. Meanwhile, social media exploded with commentary, analysis, and speculation. Users cross-referenced Rogan's evidence with public records, social media activity, and past interviews of Erika Kirk, identifying multiple inconsistencies. Experts in behavioral analysis suggested that Erika's carefully curated public persona was likely the result of deliberate planning rather than emotional reaction. Patterns in her behavior, timing of messages, and strategic silences reinforced the idea that she was orchestrating public perception with precision. Political implications began to surface as well. Erika's connections and potential influence in certain circles raised questions about whether her actions went beyond personal manipulation and extended into political strategy. Analysts debated whether her efforts to manage narratives could have had wider social or organizational impacts, suggesting that her influence was not limited to Charlie's personal life. By midweek, the story had completely shifted the public perception of Erika. No longer just a grieving widow, she was now seen as a figure of intrigue, strategy, and manipulation. Each new detail from Rogan's evidence or Candace Owens' insights seemed to add another layer to the complex narrative, leaving the public, media, and political insiders scrambling to understand the full scope of what had transpired. The week ended with mounting pressure for responses. Erika remains silent publicly, her social media inactive, and her representatives offering no comments. This absence only intensified scrutiny and speculation, reinforcing the narrative of deliberate strategy and calculated retreat. Observers suggested that her silence was likely intentional, designed to avoid direct confrontation while allowing her orchestrated image to remain in place temporarily. Part 3 begins as the story reaches its peak intensity, with Erika Kirk facing unprecedented public scrutiny after Joe Rogan's revelations and Candace Owens' warnings went viral. The combination of insider accounts, leaked messages, and public analysis has completely reshaped her image. Erika is no longer merely the grieving widow. She is now seen as someone who may have orchestrated events behind the scenes to protect her own interests, manipulate perception, and control narratives about Charlie Kirk's life and legacy. Additional sources came forward, confirming aspects of Candace Owens' warnings. Friends and colleagues who were previously silent revealed that Erika's behavior had raised red flags long before the public scandal erupted. These insiders described a pattern of control, manipulation, and strategic action, including selective disclosure of information, careful timing of statements, and controlling who had access to critical details. What once appeared as emotional decision-making was now viewed as calculated planning. Joe Rogan's podcast, Evidence, when combined with these first-hand accounts, painted a vivid picture of Erika's influence. Her ability to manage narratives, control information flow, and shape perceptions was described by analysts as methodical and precise. Patterns in her social media activity, public appearances, and statements suggested a deliberate attempt to maintain a specific image while influencing those around her. Experts noted that this type of manipulation requires advanced understanding of psychology, media dynamics, and influence, which only deepened public fascination and concern. Charlie's family remained vocal, expressing frustration at the consequences of ignoring Candace Owens' warnings. They emphasized that Erika's alleged manipulations were not trivial. They affected the family's understanding of events, interactions with associates, and even the management of Charlie's professional endeavors. According to insiders, Erika's actions had created confusion, mistrust, and a sense of betrayal among those closest to Charlie. Meanwhile, political commentators and social media analysts debated the broader implications. If Erika's orchestration extended beyond personal matters, could have influenced organizational decisions, public narratives, and political outcomes. Observers questioned whether she had leveraged connections and knowledge to protect her interests while guiding perception on a wider scale. Erika's continued silence intensified speculation. Her inactive social media, lack of public statements, and strategic absence from interviews were interpreted as a calculated retreat. Observers suggested that she was managing fallout, avoiding direct confrontation, and allowing public speculation to unfold without revealing her hand. Every revelation that surfaced only fueled curiosity about what she might be planning next and how deep her influence truly extended by the end of this cycle. The story had transformed from a personal scandal into a complex case of influence, strategy, and manipulation. Public perception had shifted dramatically. Media analysis had dissected every move, and the scrutiny on Erika Kirk was now unrelenting. Joe Rogan's revelations and Candace Owens' warnings had not only exposed potential manipulation, but also highlighted how overlooked advice could have prevented this entire public debacle. The ongoing story continues to evolve, leaving questions about accountability, truth, and influence. What is clear is that Erika Kirk's carefully crafted public persona has been dismantled, leaving the public media and political circles to grapple with the full implications of her actions and the warnings that went unheeded. The story of Erika Kirk, Candace Owens, and Joe Rogan's revelations is far from over. What started as a personal scandal has transformed into a web of manipulation, strategy, and influence that has everyone watching closely. Candace Owens' warnings to Charlie Kirk, once ignored, now look prophetic. exposing how crucial insight and timely advice can make all the difference. Every detail, every message, and every decision matters. And the public is watching as the truth continues to unfold. Stay connected by subscribing and turning on notifications so you're always up to date with the latest developments. New evidence, insider revelations, and updates on Erika Kirk's actions are coming. And you don't want to miss a single moment. The story is evolving rapidly, and every new piece of information could change the public's understanding entirely. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. Your perspective matters, and discussions from viewers like you help shed light on details that might otherwise be overlooked. Liking and sharing this video ensures more people can see the full picture and stay informed about this explosive situation. This is not just celebrity gossip. It's a story about accountability, influence, and the consequences of ignoring warnings. The next update could reveal even more shocking truths, and staying informed is the only way to follow the complete story. Don't miss what comes next, because the revelations about Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk, and Candace Owens are far from finished, and the truth continues to unravel in real time.